Handsome, just to give you a heads up, I ended up going over to Fayetteville, downtown Fayetteville, because we're on phase one of opening up. So we went ahead and, well, not we, me, I went ahead and walked around downtown and enjoyed myself. Most of the stores were closed. This was around 6, 7 o'clock. Some of the places are opening up around like noon to like 4 or 5 o'clock, maybe. 10 a.m. maybe till about 4 p.m. And so I ended up going into maybe about 2 stores, and mainly restaurants were open. But yeah, that was good. And I was able to go and just walk around. So it was enjoyable because of that. And then went to Walmart, got a few items, a lot of muffin mixes because I have a huge muffin pan and or muffin tin thingy. And I'm just like, I want to use it sometime, hopefully soon. Like all of them, there's like 30 some holes, or at least 25, 30 holes in it. So I can make it. It's really cold outside right now. But then I got home and it just turned bad. I mean, like the night turned bad. So I'm anxious, I guess, to move out, move away from my family. So yeah. But hence why I ended up not making the video earlier. So because of that, I'll go ahead and from now on, I will attempt to make a video between like, or be online between 10 a.m. and midnight, my time. And so there's that. But then also, I'll go ahead and make another video tomorrow. And I'm guessing that either you're just really close to Jackie, which I understand. Ooh, cool. Sorry. Hence why you're still in contact with her, or B, you're trying to see if it's still possible to maintain a relationship with her. I'm not 100% sure yet which one is which. So there's that. What else is there? Ooh. So there's that. I'm trying to think. One of the questions that you asked was the one thing that you know that you did right. And so I'm guessing that you feel as though you did something right. And I'm glad that you feel that. I am. Especially if it's like the right thing to do. And in that case, thank you for basically dropping the charges. I really do appreciate it. And I take it you feel bad about calling the cops or like, ooh, cold hands. Or like setting that out. So is my guess. I'm not 100% sure. So but yeah, that's a guess. Which just don't do it again. Especially if it's like, you know, I'm not trying to do anything illegal. So, yeah, I decided to post on your Instagram after what happened because I attempted to smooth things over. So, yeah, I guess it failed horribly. So, yeah. Um, oh, what else? Oh, yeah, in regards to coronavirus and toilet tissue, my dad actually read an article where basically the reason why people bought up all the toilet tissue is because most businesses, they go ahead and buy these huge rolls of toilet tissue, and so people end up using the toilet tissue at their place of business most of the time. However, and then they end up going through rolls of toilet tissue a whole lot slower. Because of that, because they're at home like rarely compared to the places of business. However, once their businesses closed down, they ended up going out and buying more toilet tissue because they're using it up more often. And I'm like, my dad told me that. I'm like, that makes so much sense because it's cheap industrial rolls that are huge. And in this case, people are buying nicer brands of toilet tissue since that's what Walmart and most of the stores offer. So, yeah, in this case, I was like, that is very, very interesting. So, yeah, even though I'm like, I get it, I understand it, I still think the jokes are hilarious. So, yeah. Um, so because it's like, hey, something to laugh at, and something that's good, clean humor overall. But yeah, anyways, back to doing something good. Thank you again for just dropping the charges. So I do appreciate it because cold hands. Simply because it was, in that regards, it was the right thing to do. Um, at least I think so. So, um, but yeah, thank you. I do appreciate it. So, yeah. Anyways, yeah, let's see. Let me know if there's anything you want to talk about. Your mom, or your grandma, sorry. I take it you really miss her, especially around Mother's Day, and that to you, she was like a mom, which, um, I remember you mentioning before that, what was it? That basically she just loved you so much, and she would stay up late and play cards with you, and the few stories that I remember about you telling me was basically that she would stay up late and play cards with you or call you just to ask you, hey, what is the channel or channels that my favorite show or shows are on? What was another thing? So there's that. Uh, I also mentioned to you, what was it? I think it was Nukes. Whenever I ended up, you asked me if I wanted to go with you to your house. I was like, sure, just hang out. This was whenever my parents and sister were out of town. And so we ended up, or like I ended up going with you to your house and we hung out for a few hours. And then your grandpa asked if you could go pick up something from Newt's, I think. So we went over there. And then we came back and he asked if I got, or like if you had gotten anything for me, and I had said no, basically. And you said that I didn't want any. It's like, oh, I did. And what ended up happening? So there's that. And I mentioned to you that I liked your dad or like your grandpa. And you're like, yeah. Uh, and you told a story about when he, what was it? He, was it? Your grandpa would ask you, hey, have you eaten anything? And you would say no. Or like, no, it was your grandma, Mama Linda. She would ask if you had eaten anything, and you would say no. And she would ask your grandpa, like, get him to eat. He's like, he's not hungry right now. So yeah, I thoroughly enjoy those stories and just listening to you tell stories about your grandmother or about, yeah, basically your grandmother, and listening to you talk about her life and how, like, what she meant to you and how she influenced you and how she just loved you. And it was great and I loved it. And, like listening to you, I was like, you know what? That's something that I want. Either it was something that, um, it was usually something that I was like, you know what? I want this, but I don't know how to, like, I don't know who would be up for it. So, like, calling randomly just to find out something, it's like, really? I can do that? I can do that. Just for like a talk for 5, 6 minutes. So there's that. What's another thing? Or like make sure that a friend has eaten food. So yeah, there's that. What else is there? I mean, like what your grandmother did. Um, oh, what was another thing? Yeah, just being there, basically. Or like making food together. And it was something that I was like, you know what? I want to do that. I mean, like I had already thought about it maybe a few like weeks or months or years before that. It's like I want to make food with someone else. I don't want to be the only one like consistently making food. I want to do it with someone and enjoy their company and just hang out together. And so you talking about that, I'm like, you know what? That's something, a memory that you thoroughly treasured and enjoyed. And so, yeah, so you talking about that, and it's like, you know what? I imagine that he wants that in his life. And it's like, you know, honestly, it's something that I've been wanting for a while. So it was great just listening to the stories that you had because it was like, you know what? This is something, yeah. I'm like, you know what? I can see myself. This is something that I've wanted and I've been wanting for a while. And it was comforting knowing that you had also wanted it or that it was something that you thoroughly enjoyed. And I realized that it was something that you also wanted in your life. So, yeah, it's really, really cool. So, yeah, thank you for those stories. Let me know if there's any other stories that you have of your grandmother because I am super curious and I guess nosy, and I really enjoyed listening to those stories of just your grandmother. So, yeah. Or basically, where she was like your mom. So, from what I can tell, because of how much she loved you. And I love the fact that other people in your family were like a mother figure or father figure to you. So it's, yeah. Especially, and I say that because I met one lady whose mom was a cocaine addict or like a drug addict, and she wasn't treated very well. And I actually feel really sorry for her because she has just from the short time that I knew her, she has so much bitter and anger toward people in general. She mentioned that she doesn't like people. So, for example, they do something, she does it back, or she reacts poorly. And so, in that regards, I feel sorry for her, or like I understand, but I think it's really hard for her, and I feel sorry in the regards to I wish it had not happened to her, and she doesn't because of that, she has like anger problems and she doesn't know how to treat people with kindness or compassion. And so, because of that, she only has like two friends, three friends. And I'm like, wow, like, I wouldn't want to be around her a lot because I was kind of afraid of her to a certain degree because she's easily petty. But I do feel like sorry for her because it's like, okay, she's been through all this and she doesn't know how to handle like people or be nice to people or understand, okay, now's the time to defend myself, and now, you know what, I'm safe, I'm okay. And so she's constantly on a offensive, I guess, on the offensive defensive, and she doesn't know how to like let her guard down or know when to put down the sword in order to not fight people and just be like, it's okay. Like I can enjoy people and I can enjoy life. And I don't have to react in anger or be angry or bitter toward people. And yeah, so but yeah, I mentioned that because I don't think she really had a positive role model or a mother figure or father figure, and in your case, you did. And I'm like, wow, that's incredible. It's really, really cool, especially that you had people loving you and supporting you, um, no matter what. And it was basically your safe place. So, yeah, I think it's really, really cool. And a part of me wonders if, just speaking of all of that, I know before you mentioned that you didn't like it or you felt like a failure. I'm not sure if this is still true or not, but you felt like a failure because when someone would get mad at you, angry at you, or someone would tell you that they were disappointed in you. And I wonder if that was because, like, I can't remember if I mentioned this before or not, but sometimes when, like, your parents would become angry at you, that they would how your mom used to, I don't know how she's doing now, but how your mom used to react whenever she got angry, or maybe your dad. And so because of that, it just brought up like feelings of I did a horrible job. I was a complete and utter failure. And so in that regards, like I wonder if that was the reason. And I just want to let you know that you're not a failure. You're definitely not a failure. And I'm ooh, cold. um, I am glad that you're willing to improve and do better and get better and yeah, just all of that. So, yeah, I'm glad and I'm proud of you for trying to learn from your mistakes and not just trying to stay in whatever pit of despair you're in. So, yeah. Um, Anyways, I did want to let you know I love your voice. I haven't heard it in a while. I haven't listened to it recently, but from what I remember, I loved your voice and I love your voice. And I remember, yeah, hearing it a little bit. So, yeah. Or I remember your voice a little. So, and then also hearing you talk about whatever. So I thoroughly enjoyed that. And so, yeah. But I will talk to you later. I'll talk to you today slash Sunday, since it's already like 1 a.m. my time to midnight your time. So I'll talk to you later. Hope you have a good day. Yeah, I'll be online tomorrow. I don't think I really am going anywhere tomorrow. I'll be working my dresser. Yeah. And actually cleaning my room. I need to go ahead and like clear off or clean the room somewhat of all the little dust particles. But I will definitely be checking online occasionally to see if you've posted or liked something or placed a question on Ask.fm or YouTube or anything similar to that. So, yeah. And, yeah. And I'll talk to you later. Bye, Charlie. Have a great day. Or Trey Bird. Either one. Bye.